Hi, everyone. Welcome back to the Harbinger podcast. This is Adam Bao, your host. So, today we're chatting with Zach Pan, who is Associate Partner at Lightspeed China Partners, one of China's top early stage VCs managing $2 billion USD. Zach joined Lightspeed China Partners in January 2013 after having worked at Steamboat Ventures, which is Disney's corporate VC, and China Renaissance Investment Bank. Since then, Zach has invested in some of Lightspeed's top deals, including QingCloud, Spark Education, Full Truck Alliance, IfChange, PeerSafe, and more. With Zach, we explore Lightspeed China Partners' investment strategy, team structure, and how it collaborates with its sister funds around the world. We also touch on consumer, enterprise, deep tech, and macro trends as Zach shares what he's looking at and what he finds interesting in the China market. Hi, Zach. Thanks so much for joining us today. Before we get into your experiences at Lightspeed, I'd love to learn more about your story. Could you share a little bit more about your experiences?
Okay. Thank you, Adam, for inviting. I can give a very brief self-introduction. So I graduated from Shanghai Jiao Tong University with a bachelor degree in electrical engineering. And right after my graduation, I joined the China Renaissance Partners, which is the #1 boutique investment bank in China. They just got listed on Hong Kong stock market in 2018, I think. Yeah. After my nearly 2 years work in China Renaissance, I joined the Steamboat Ventures, which is a venture capital investment arm of Walt Disney, the Mickey Mouse. So I started my career as a venture capitalist in Steamboat Ventures. And after that, I joined the Lightspeed on January 2013. So now I'm working for Lightspeed for more than 7 years.
Yep. So you've seen a lot of the development of China venture capital and startup market. And you mentioned beyond your experiences in venture capital, you also worked on a few startup-y things or have a few other side businesses, right? Can you share a little bit more about that?
Yeah. So for me, I think venture capital is a kind of a lifestyle. You don't need to work 24/7, but you actually your everyday job. You need to talk to different people. You get to know different knowledge with those industry veterans. So for me, I really want to experience more life, and I want to learn some new skills or different experience every year. So for me, I actually opened a barbecue restaurant in Shanghai in 2015, and it was actually the first cart, just like the one in New York. In New York, it's a barbecue barbecue van, yeah, on the street, and the people can order and buy some barbecue for snack. And also, I have my own band, and I had 3 music videos. Yeah, you can also search the music videos on YouTube.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, I mean, hey, love to try some of your cooking next time.
Sure.
And getting back to your experiences in the venture capital world in China, again, it's been quite a while, having spent like 10 plus years in this area. So Lightspeed, you've been there for 7 years, and I think most of our listeners would have heard about Lightspeed. It's one of the top VCs in the world. Led deals in companies including Snapchat, Firm, Stitch Fix in the U.S. And in China, certainly Pinduoduo has been a really big one over the past period. Could you share a bit more about Lightspeed, what Lightspeed China Partners is like, and your experiences there?
Sure, of course. So Lightspeed was founded in late 1990s in Silicon Valley, and we call it Lightspeed Venture Partners. We call it Lightspeed US, aka Lightspeed US. So we opened our China branch office called Lightspeed China in 2006. So from 2006 to 2010, we operated as the branch office of Lightspeed US. So that means the fundraising part and the IC. The decision was made by US. So we invested some of the famous companies during that time, such as Dianping, which is merged with Meituan. It's called Meituan Dianping now, and
Mm-hmm.
one of the largest online advertising company called MediaV, which got acquired by 360 Qihoo. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and we also had a company that was listed on Chinese stock markets called 联络互动. Um,
Mm-hmm.
so we have three focus industries. One is called fintech. So we invested in a company such as Pai Dai, which got listed in US called PPD.
Mm-hmm.
And another company called 简谱科技. It's a spin-off of Rome 360. The ticker is called JP, I think. Yeah. And so some other companies called 易代理. It's not a listed company, but it's also very, very big. The second industry that we focus is called enterprise. We can talk about it later. So let's be US. Invest a lot of famous stock portfolios in these sectors. In China, we also invest some famous companies such as QingCloud, which is an IaaS company just like AWS, and some companies like Hesai. It's a LiDAR company for autonomous driving.
Mm-hmm.
Some other portfolio companies. So the third industry we focus is called Internet Plus. It's a large industry. Basically, we exclude the fintech and the enterprise sectors. All the other sectors are in this Internet Plus. So, for example, for e-commerce, we have Pinduoduo, which is a very famous company, and for logistics, we have Manbang, which is Manbang. In English called Food Truck Alliance. It might be the largest private company in logistic industry,
Mm-hmm.
which just got 1 billion investment from SoftBank Vision Fund in
Mm-hmm.
2018.
Mm-hmm.
And in real estate company sector, we have Fangzhuoduo, which also got listed in 2019. The ticker is FDD, I think. No, the ticker is DUO. Yeah. And in other sectors like education, we have 火花思维 in Spark Education, and
Mm-hmm.
in travel space, we have Tujia,
Mm-hmm.
which is a unicorn company, and some many other companies.
Mm-hmm.
So basically, we are Lightspeed China Partners is a typical early stage venture capital in China. We mainly focus on Chinese startups. So we have US dollar fund and RMB fund. And right now we have raised our fourth fund, Lightspeed China 4. So we can invest in some late stage deals. For example, some of our portfolios are raising late stage, such as Series D or Series C. We might be able to do the co-investment because
Mm-hmm.
typically those round requires a large amount of money for the provider. So we can
Mm-hmm.
also do some late stage investments, such as the typical check size is around 20 million to 30 million or even above.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Got it. Yeah, that's quite helpful. And clearly, Lightspeed China Partners has invested in some really incredible companies. So you guys invest typically early stage, and what's the typical check size, and which stages? So everything before Series B.
Yeah. So our typical check size is around below 10 million US dollar.
Mm-hmm.
So for the first round of investment, we typically will invest between 2 million to 7 or 8 million for the first round. But since we will do pro rata, so the total check size for one deal should be around 10 million or 15 million.
Mm-hmm.
That depends on the deal. So our focus is in Series A, but we also do some angel deal and sometimes Series B. So generally
Mm-hmm.
speaking, typical early stage VC in China.
Okay, got it. And in terms of the Series A versus earlier, or some of the growth co-investments that you mentioned, are those types of investments split by team? Are there folks who are focused on earlier versus later stage? And generally speaking, can you share a bit more about the team setup and how things are structured at Lightspeed China?
Okay, so actually we're a small team. Right now we only have around a dozen investment professionals. So we don't
Mm-hmm.
have a very rigid or very serious team separation. For example, you are focused on consumer or so for example, ABC are focused on consumer sectors, DEF are focused on tech sectors. So we're not that rigid, but
Mm-hmm.
no, we have some general team. For example, consumer team, which include e-commerce and those social deals and those travel space, such things like that. For the tech team, we will have someone who will have deep dive into SaaS and deep tech, such as IC industry.
Mm.
So we have two general partners in China and six associate partners in with two VP and one associate. I think, yeah.
Mm-hmm. For investment
Around
team.
one,
Okay.
yeah. And also we have some portfolio management teams such as HR, PR, and those finance team.
Mm-hmm. Okay, understood.
Mm.
And what is so that's the investment team setup. And I know I visited your office in Shanghai, so I'm presuming that's a headquarters. What about other kind of coverage slash office locations in China?
So in China, we have two offices. One is in Shanghai and one is in Beijing.
Mm-hmm.
So we only
Mm-hmm.
have two offices, but we
Mm-hmm.
travel a lot, just like other VC.
Yep, I can imagine. Okay, and then so with the understanding of the team structure and the types of deals that you invest in, what is the investment process like? Or if you take a step back, can you kind of talk us through how you guys source, evaluate what the investment process might look like, and beyond?
Okay, so I think one of the differentiation with, among Lightspeed and other VC in China, I would say the people prospecting part. So when I first joined Lightspeed back in 2013, I was very strange that VC firm need to do people prospecting. For me, during my work experience in Steamboat, we only do deal prospecting. Yeah, so for the deal process part in Lightspeed, we do pay attention to people prospecting. Every week, we need to network and know many people, the people with good track record, and they might be the potential founders or the candidates for our portfolios. So every week during the deal meeting, we talk about deals and also we talk about people. The people, so we do focus on the people side. And for the deal prospecting part, I think almost all the VCs in China, they do quite the same.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And then, so like assuming that the investors at Lightspeed source some interesting deals, what is the deal evaluation, the IC, the investment committee process look like?
Okay, so every week we do have some. Every week we have a weekly deal meeting on Monday,
Mm-hmm.
and if there's some urgent deal, we can talk on daily basis, on hourly basis. But let's talk about some deal weekly deal meetings.
Mm-hmm.
So we will pop up some interesting deal or priority deal from each investment professional, and we talk about it. We talk about some highlight and
Mm-hmm.
some basic introduction of the deal and some deal structure, etc. And we will discuss if we need to meet the founders for a team presentation. And after the team presentation, we may or may not issue the term sheet. If we issue the term sheet, we will ask the founder to sign it, and then we do the DD process. After that, we just close the deal. Typically, the whole process will take around 2 months or even 1 month.
Got it. Okay. And is this process done completely separately from Lightspeed US? Or perhaps termed differently, what is the collaboration, if any, with Lightspeed China versus the US side?
Okay, so we are under the Lightspeed family. So it's but we operate differently. So we have our own fundraising process. We have our own IC decision process. So basically, Lightspeed China partners focus on Chinese market, while Lightspeed US focus on US market, and also we have Lightspeed India, which is now also separated from Lightspeed US. They have their own IC member and they have their own fundraising stuff. They will focus on India market, and we have Lightspeed Israel. So there are 14 under the big Lightspeed family. So Lightspeed US, Lightspeed Israel, Lightspeed India, and Lightspeed China. So we may share some of the market info. For example, we talked a lot with US team on the enterprise market. For example, those cybersecurity market and SaaS market. And the India team will have some routinely call with a Chinese team on some e-commerce deal, on some social deals to seek our advice. And also we may exchange some of the key metrics when we are doing due diligence on some deals. And we also talk about the valuation method for different deals with US team or India team to share the knowledge. Yeah.
Okay, got it. Cool. Well, I mean, certainly beneficial to have these investors, and I would consider them experts in these different areas around the world. Must be quite helpful. But coming back to Lightspeed China Partners, you mentioned some of the companies that you and team have invested in. Are there any portfolio companies you'd like to highlight or share a little bit more about in terms of how they're doing or your understanding of them?
Okay. I think I can share with you a company called Spark Education. It's called 火花思维. It is the number one leading online math lesson for kids with age between 3 to 8. Yeah. So it's a very competitive market in China for those K-12 education company, since there are so many conglomerates such as 好未来 and 新东方, and also those private companies such as VIP Kid, 猿辅导, etc. They all have different business line that compete with Spark Education. However, having said that, Spark Education is still number one in these sectors. It is a we investment company in Series A, and I'm the board member of this company. Right now, the company has closed Series D and will kick off the new round of financing soon. The company, the founder of the company is called Luo Jian, who is the co-founder and CTO of Ganji. Ganji was merged with 58.com. It's the Craigslist in China. And the founder and the CEO of Ganji, after the merge, he founded a company called Guazi, which also got bank vision fund investment. And the CTO, Luo Jian, founded a company called Spark Education. So I know him through people perspective. So I know him when he was when he was CTO of Ganji, and I keep tracking him and talk to him frequently. And once he had some idea about about the new company, I I talked to him, but before the Spark Education, his idea was about toy sharing. There's a company in US called Play, PLEY, which is also
Yep.
the toy sharing company.
Mm.
So he wants to build a company in China, just like China's Play. But the idea didn't work out, and the company pivoted to Spark Education, the online math teaching. Right now, the existing investors include Sequoia China, IDG, Lightspeed, Northern Light, KKR, GGV, etc. So a lot of reputable investors are backing the company.
Mhm.
The business model is quite simple, but also very unique. When I say simple, it's just like it's just like other online education company teaching kids math online. So there's a company in China called Haoweilai, which is the largest online education company according to the market cap. So they also do math teaching, but their students are older, so typically the students of Haoweilai is around 12 or even older. And the class is a math class, so maybe around 500 or even bigger. A lot of students will have those big class online. But for Spark Education, I'm talking about the unique part. So they are having a small class, uh, four or six students will have the online math lessons simultaneously, and the teachers are fixed, the time slot are fixed, and the classmates are also fixed. So the three fixed parts are the unique point of this business model, and also the beauty part is. For the other online education companies such as VIP Kid, they do one-on-one. So the time slot is not fixed. The teacher are not fixed. They don't have classmate. For Spark Education, it is the number one. It's the first online education company that do those three fixed model. In this model, students are more students tend to be more focused, and they have link with teachers, so that will generate a healthy, unique economy model and some good retention rate.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Got it. Well, it sounds like the company is doing pretty well, and just trying to understand it and kind of break it down a little bit further. So, you mentioned that this is a company that teaches math online, and it's kind of like one teacher on a couple students, so one on many type model. Um,
Yeah.
okay, got it. Is that so? And then what kind of math is taught in these classes?
Some kind of very easy math lessons, because
Mm-hmm.
the students are very young, and
Mm-hmm.
they may not sometimes uh, they don't even know some basic math thinking methodology. So the
Mm-hmm.
teacher wants to teach them online some basic math uh, solving math lessons. For example, how to count, the sequence, what is circle, what is triangle, what is rectangle. So those basic lessons,
Mm-hmm.
the parents want their children to have this kind of lesson to lay a solid foundation before they go to the elementary school,
Mm-hmm.
or it's they need to pass some exam um, when they want to go to some good elementary school in China. So the
Mm-hmm.
parents are eager to have their children
Yeah.
a good test taker in those exams. So they want their children to have these kind of lessons.
Yeah. Wow. So it sounds like education is going earlier and earlier. Okay. And so let's say before this company, so you said it was called 火花思维, right? 火花思
Yes.
维.
Yes.
Okay. So assuming that this company did not exist, what did younger kids do before Was it primarily offline? Was it mostly kind of logic games? Why is it such a new thing?
Good question. So before Spark Education, parents will send their children to those offline centers.
Mm-hmm.
There's a company called Mobi Thinking, which is also a branch
Mm-hmm.
company, 好未来. It is a
Okay.
purely offline business. The parents will send their children to the offline center to learn some math lessons.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, but the offline part, parents need to spend more time on the traffic, and the lessons are only once a week. For 火花思维, you can have 2 or 3 lessons per week, and the parents don't need to spend time on the traffic. And also the content taught on 火花思维 is very interactive.
Mm-hmm.
Children will find a lot of fun when they are having online lessons.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And one of the most important part is that when you have offline lessons, a class there are maybe 20 or 30, 40 students in one class, while on 火花思维, there are only 4 or 6 students. The parents tend to pay more money for the online part.
Right, right. And just to understand, you mentioned these are fixed slots with the same teacher and the same students in a class. What
Yes.
is this like an after school type program? Is it a weekend class, or is it supposed to replace other stuff that's done during the day?
Typically the students of 火花思维 are the students in the kids in kindergarten.
Right.
So they will have lessons after they had their kindergarten course, after
Yeah.
when they are at home. So if they choose to have 2 lessons per week, so one lesson will be in weekend, and another will be during the weekdays.
Mm-hmm. Got it. Okay.
Kind of after school tutoring.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Understood. And I mean, to your point, I think education in China is very interesting, and we've had a couple of education founders come on before, including a co-founder of Liu Shuo, which is English learning,
Yeah.
kind of a AI English teacher in your pocket, and also 一起作业. So there's a lot of money in this area, but also it seems there's quite a bit of competition. To your point earlier, there's the big giants like TAL, 好未来 or 新东方. Or Yuan Fudao, 一起作业. There's a bunch of these guys, and then many of them are following a similar model where they're having kind of like a teacher teach you via the app or via via PC, and then paying either by hour, some sort of subscription. And it seems that the cost of acquiring new students and users is super high. I'm just wondering, for this company Spark or 火花思维, how does it get about this this challenge? How does it manage the cost to acquire users? And how is it able to differentiate against so many of the other existing education companies?
Well, Adam, you ask very good questions. So since I've been looking to education space for nearly 2 years, as far as I know, if an education company wants to acquire a new leads, they will spend almost 50% of the total revenue for the new users in customer acquiring. I mean CAC, customer acquiring cost. But for 火花思维, for Spark Education, they only spent less than 20% in the customer acquiring cost. So the company kick off the business by inviting some very small part of the parents, and then they invite their children to have the lessons. If they feel good, they can invite their friends to do some parental referral stuff through the WeChat group. So 80% or nearly 70% of the leads are through referral, and that makes the unique model, economy model of Spark Education very beautiful. They only spend. I mean, all in all, the customer acquiring cost is quite low comparing to other online education companies.
Okay, that's interesting. It's quite clever. And so for each class, when you say there's 4 to 5 students, do these students typically know each other? Now, are you kind of recommending other people in your school, your friends that might be of quality to the same class? Or yeah, or is it
Yeah, they might know each other before the class, but in most cases they may not know each other. But after they have one class, they will know each other because they are in the same class. They are classmates. Just very, similar situation with the offline business model.
Got it. I like it a lot. I feel like yeah, very very clever innovation when it comes to the business process. Kind of reminds me of other types of social behaviors, whether it's social group buy or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So I mean, yeah, really interesting company. We don't have too much time during this session. I figured we could talk a little bit more about what else you're seeing in China in terms of the overall market, the categories that you cover. So I think one thing that a lot of folks in the US or around the world are starting to understand about China is that the mobile consumer internet opportunity, that was a really big one over the past, I don't know, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 years. There's a lot of talk about enterprise these days. There's some talk about deep tech, about semiconductors and all of that. So in terms of where you sit at Lightspeed China Partners, what are you seeing in the market? What do you find very interesting?
Okay, so now it's also a very good question. So for me, I think there's no any low-hanging fruit in VC market right now. People pivot their attention from consumer sector to those enterprise sectors. For me, I was focused on those consumer sectors such as social deal, education, but now I'm more focused on those enterprise sectors. Actually, we have some kind of a debate among our investment teams. There's one thing that we found very interesting. Actually, there are 3 kind of business can be very big. One is called business model innovation, such as those sharing economy conglomerates, for example, Uber, Didi in China. Those companies are the typical example of business model innovation. The second one is called technology breakthrough, such as Tesla. By the way, Tesla's performance on stock market is very beautiful these days.
Right.
And the third category is called we call it the consumer oriented. For example, just like Apple. So Apple's technology is not the first one. The business model is also not the first one, but the product wooed the consumer's heart. People like it. It has built a kind of flywheel effect. The product got viral between among users. So the 3 kind of category can really make big companies. And also in China, there's also a very interesting part. You can say you can find 2 very big company, which the first one is called ByteDance, 字节跳动. The second one is called Pinduoduo. So those companies, they have same pattern, which I call the following the following the big conglomerate, but find a new space. For example, before Pinduoduo, there was a business line in Taobao called 聚划算. But since Alibaba is a listed company, they have some pressure for the healthy financial performance. So they cut off or shut down the 聚划算 business line. And then Pinduoduo find these business opportunities and become a very big e-commerce company. And for ByteDance case, it's also the same. Before ByteDance, Baidu is the overwhelming giant in Chinese search market, but the business model requires Baidu to take advertising revenue from the companies. But ByteDance find that he can focus on the user part and do some customized content according to different users. So this kind of approach create a new space for ByteDance. So what I'm talking about is that some matured markets, some matured mass market, such as search, e-commerce, there are those dinosaurs in the space already, but the newcomers can still find a space that was left over by the conglomerates due to some pressure on the financial part or on the business model part. Those opportunities you can find it in many other industries. I think these kind of opportunities will be the next big thing.
And if that's the case, how does your team at Lightspeed China go about looking for such opportunities? And might you be able to share maybe one or two things that you're looking at right now?
Actually, as I said before, there's less and less low-hanging fruit in Chinese VC industry. So especially in consumer sectors. So I can say most of the VC are pivoting their focus on enterprise sectors. So for us, we discuss about it internally. So we do. We also focus some attention on the enterprise sectors, but for the consumer sectors, we are not giving up. We are still in search of some breakthrough in social, in e-commerce, which is also very big sectors. But for those sectors that are too crowded, we may not give too much effort. For the enterprise part, I think we focus a lot on IC sectors due to the Sino-US trade tension.
IC as an integrated circuit?
Yeah.
Okay.
And some of the technology breakthrough in the enterprise sector, such as LiDAR, such as those high tech part. For example, we invested in a company called Xiang, which is targeted to be the Chinese Zoom.
Chinese Zoom?
Yeah, China. We target to be the China Zoom.
Okay.
XY link.
Okay, got it. XY link. And then you brought up an interesting point around the US-China relationship and the need for China to invest more in ICs and semiconductors. Kind of hearing a little bit more about how Lightspeed approaches semis and some of the deep tech kind of hardware component type opportunities.
Okay, so James Lee is our founding partner in Lightspeed China. He holds 14 US patents in IC industry. So I would say he might be one of the most experienced veteran in VC with IC background. So for him, he paid a lot of attention on those IC deals and some high-tech deals. He knows a lot of hard person in this industry, and actually he has a technology background. He understands well of this industry, and the network also helps him to do some deal sourcing, and his profound knowledge in IC industry helps him to do some judgment.
Yeah. Got it. So at Lightspeed, is it, does James do all the deals, all the deep tech hardware / semi deals, or are there other members on the team that also focus on that area?
James is the lead in high tech part, but others can also be part of the deal team.
Interesting. Yeah. No, I mean, I've heard, again, kind of word on the street that some of the typical blue chip funds, including Sequoia, Lightspeed, and a few others, are kind of beefing up their deep tech teams these days. It's an area where there's a lot of corporate funds, so a lot of R&B funds, a lot of kind of like 产业基金, basically a lot of kind of tech companies that might have a team that invests in that area. So like the Xiaomi's, the Huawei's, and all of those guys definitely get in the area. But I find it very fascinating that a lot more financially driven VCs are also investing more in this area. And Lightspeed, I mean, James Mee certainly stands out for having that type of background even before doing a lot of the kind of financially driven type deals like Pinduoduo.
Yes. So I think we are also beefing up the team in the high tech part. We just recruited a very experienced guy from other VC who has been looking to this industry for almost 8 years.
Mm-hmm. Okay, cool. We talked a little bit about kind of the broad investment categories from consumer to enterprise to deep tech. If we kind of take a further step back, I was wondering what you thought about some of the impact of the macro factors. So, was U.S. China, and these days in particular, the coronavirus. I mean, we're having a Zoom call right now, partially because folks can't really leave their homes, right? What do you think that impact will have on Chinese startups and venture capital?
Okay, so for me, I think the coronavirus definitely impact the fundraising process for the startup companies. I would say that there were two major effects on the companies. First was that the cash flow issue. Many startup companies may not be able to survive in maybe I would say 3 or 6 months without any cash inflow. While they also need to pay the checks, pay the rent, and other things. The second issue is that for the fundraising part of startups, they might not be able to do the fundraising within 2 or 3 months because people are not very active in meeting peoples. As far as I know, a lot of VC and startup companies are working from home. We need to have some Zoom calls or some videos at home. While if there's no coronavirus, we can meet in person and the process will be more effective.
Mm-hmm.
For the final U.S. tension, I think it's kind of crisis and opportunities. In Chinese, we call 危机, so crisis and opportunities. For the opportunity part, I think it's good for the Chinese semiconductor industry, for the IC part. There are a lot of opportunity for the Chinese companies to have some big checks from investors and from the customers. The crisis part is that the whole process may take some time, and if the tension goes on, I don't know how it will affect the Chinese GDP and the whole fundraising part.
Yeah, I mean, in terms of Chinese funds being able to invest in the U.S., that's been declining for quite a while. In terms of the China flows to Israel, that still seems fairly open. When it comes to learning more about the deep tech plays that are out there, that seems fine. And at least thus far, I mean, U.S. capital from LPs flowing to China seems to be okay. And if anything, the LPs that I talked to who are based there seem to be allocating even more so to China. So at least that's still open for now. But I very much hope that the coronavirus situation improves after a while. When I talk to a lot of my friends and colleagues and folks who are in China, whether they're in Shanghai or Beijing, it's really pretty tough. I feel like folks based in the US or abroad really don't have a sense of what it's actually like living through that. 疯了，对吧？在家里都疯了. Like everyone's going kind of crazy being stuck at home.
And the facial mask has kind of become the currency in China. We can best use a facial mask.
Yeah. I know. Yeah, totally. So if folks can contribute more to either donating masks or to certain types of campaigns and relief programs, then please do. It's quite an unfortunate situation.
Mhm.
All right. Well, Zach, thanks for your time. And it's helpful conversation. Learn a lot about Lightspeed China Ventures, some of the deals you've been looking at, and some of your other views. So thanks again for your time.
Thanks, Adam, for inviting.
No problem at all.